The tools you use to create content should enhance your creative workflow, your flow state. They shouldn't take you out of it. For the past couple of months, with the addition of the M4 Max MacBook Pro into my setup, I can say with full confidence, it was worth the purchase. I've tested the limits of this MacBook with my work and began to experience how it transformed my entire content creation workflow. This video, I'll take you through why I chose this laptop, the specs, how this keeps me productive and creative, and a real-time performance test against my editing and gaming PC. Yo, cousin, if you're a content creator and you're looking to make a huge leap in your tech stack, you're at the right place at the right time. And hopefully through this video, as I share my experience of what it's been like using my MacBook Pro as my main editing machine and how much it's just changed the way that I create, you'll be able to make a decision on whether or not this is the right choice for you. But first, let's add a little bit of context on why we chose this laptop. So, how did we get here? Many moons ago, I remember experiencing the Mac OS for the very first time in college, and it just felt right. It was simple, yet intentionally crafted for creatives all around the world. But with every video studio that I've worked in moving forward, Mac OS was the preferred choice, which was great, but with what I knew growing up from all my cousins and all my friends, a custom-built Windows PC had more options for gaming and content creation. But there was one consistent problem that I kept running into. There was just no separation between work and play. And for my specific needs, I needed a separate machine to house all of my creative work. And I needed to have the ability to also take it with me on the go. Because obviously, that's not going anywhere. And so, with the sacrifice of both my kidneys, here we are with Apple's latest edition, the M4 MacBook Pro. Now, this isn't to say that everything I'm about to explain about this laptop and my experience with it can't be done on a PC. It definitely can. But from personal experience, and after many years of being a Windows user, sometimes longevity just isn't there. For the past decade, I've probably been through at least a handful of laptops and maybe 2 PCs. And with Apple, I've been through one laptop that lasted about 5 to 6 years. Now, I don't want to bore you by getting too deep into the specs, but let's take a look under the hood, shall we? For my customization, I went with 64 gigs of RAM. That's because I work with the entire Adobe Creative Suite and also DaVinci Resolve. And let me tell you, with these editing programs, 16 to 32 gigs of RAM just wasn't going to be enough. And I knew that having that extra amount of memory was going to be so clutch down the road. As I said earlier, I chose the M4 Max chip with the 16-core CPU and 40-core GPU, which gives me so much horsepower for the work that I do, for all of my 4K editing, color grading, you name it. For the internal storage, I got a 1TB SSD, which actually I maxed out within the first few weeks because of transferring a lot of footage onto my laptop. So I definitely feel like I got a little bit of buyer's remorse for not getting the extra storage, but nothing an external SSD can't fix. For my MacBook, I didn't opt in for the nano texture display. From other creators that I've talked with and some Reddit comments that I've seen, if you work with color, this may not be the best option. Plus, I don't plan on working outside in broad daylight, and I like the glossy screen. Now, there's some other creators who actually love the nano display, but it just wasn't for me. And actually talking about the screen, I chose the 16-inch model. Trust me, I've worked with a tiny 14-inch MacBook, even a 13-inch, I think. I could not pass up the extra screen real estate. Those 2 inches actually do matter. Pause. Especially if I'm editing on the go and I don't have an extra screen available. Although portability is a little bit rough, not gonna lie, it's a hefty machine. I still need to find a proper backpack to actually carry this in. But if you care for portability and don't mind a smaller screen, the 14-inch will work perfect for you. Now you've heard all the stats, all the specs, and you're probably thinking to yourself, well, isn't this a bit overkill? And I actually agree with you to a certain degree. But for my creative needs, I would be editing all of my content, photos, motion graphics work, color grading, and can't forget those anime binge sessions. And at once, I probably have 2 or 3 of these programs open, especially when I'm doing deep work. But hear me out, I wanted to future-proof myself. I love motion graphics and animation. With 3D motion graphics evolving, I wanted to have the option for exploring heavy 3D and possibly VFX work, which is another aspiration of mine. So with all things considered, this is an investment, cousin. Buy high quality once and avoid buying twice later down the road. I can't begin to explain the breath of fresh air I felt creating on this MacBook. It only takes one distraction to snap you out of your flow state, and about 15 to 20 minutes to get you back in. Being able to create content and minimize distractions is key here. And with my gaming PC and editing all in one, it was almost impossible to do that. One Valo invite on Discord from the squad, and how could I ever resist? Not only is this laptop blazing fast, but Apple makes it so easy to get what you need and to get it done fast, all while keeping you in one cohesive ecosystem. With the latest Sequoia update, I can mirror my iPhone screen and drag and drop everything that I need straight to my laptop, or vice versa. If there's something that I filmed on the go from my phone, AirDrop. I copied something on my phone, I can paste that onto my MacBook. Now my iPad Pro can finally stop being neglected, if you know you know, and I can mirror the screen and have a portable display with me if I'm out and about. My MacBook will automatically notice if either of my devices are nearby, and connectivity comes pretty easy. Now you might be asking yourself this question, well, can't Windows do this too? And yes, it can, but with a few extra steps. And the thing is, with those small extra decisions that I needed to make, more oftentimes than not, it would take me out of my creative flow state. When I'm editing on my PC, after it's done, I would have to upload it to Google Drive, go on my phone, download it from Google Drive, and then finally get it up for publishing. And I know that there's OneShare, but I just didn't really use it all too much. Not only that, but if I had footage on my iPhone and I was trying to get it onto my Windows PC, there was just so many nuances and extra steps, pretty much a headache every single time. No cables, no stress, all done by the press of a button and through AirDrop. It's that simple. Thus, keeping me focused and spending more time and creative energy where it matters the most. With all this talk about flow state and my creative process, you probably want to see some real tests of how does this compare to my current workflow right now and also my previous workflow on my editing PC. Let's check it out, shall we? All right, okay, cousin, let's get this going. So I have a project loaded up. I have a motion graphic animation that I did for Instagram. The whole concept was shoot for the moon so that you'll land among the stars. So I have both projects loaded. All right, I purged both. I'm going at full frame quality, full resolution. I'm going to hit play on both and we'll see how this goes. How's the playback? I don't know if you can see it, but on the right, it's chugging like crazy. It's barely moving, and the animation has already finished on my MacBook. Just off that test alone, I am so impressed with the speeds. Like going from, my editing PC, what I thought was pretty good. Like I have a 3090 RTX card in there and like 64 gigs of RAM. But with like the M4 Max chip, 64 gigs of RAM here, and just like the internal speeds of the SSD, and oh my goodness, it's so fast. I'm going to do a quick test with the rendering and let's see how that goes. I'm going to hit render on both and let's see which one finishes first. Looks like the MacBook just finished and we are still going on my editing PC. What is that, 21 seconds around there? And I think this finished in like 7. Oh my goodness. So like almost 3 times as fast. Yeah, I think I've made the right decision on my upgrade. Like think about it. 3 times as fast with the rendering, basically 3 times as fast when I'm doing the playback on my heavy loaded projects. That just saves me so much time because that adds up. Like if you think about it, when you're editing, you want to make sure that you're just going from point A to point B as fast as you can. That was one of my biggest struggles when I was doing like my motion graphics work, is that since it's so graphic intensive, it takes a while for the image to render, especially when I want to see it in like a full quality preview, right? And mind you, I have DaVinci Resolve opened right now amongst like some other browser tabs that I have open. I have Notion open. It performed that well while rendering my After Effects project. Like just think about that. I had nothing open on my editing PC. What? Cousin, it's crazy. This is what we wanted, right? This is exactly what we needed. But I do want to show you what it's like when I have my actual timeline open for my projects. Because right now I've been editing all of my YouTube content in 4K, like 4K timeline, color graded footage, all on my MacBook Pro. So what does it look like when I'm like scrubbing? Easy. It handles it like with ease. This thing is a beast. This thing is insane. When I play back in real time, it's smooth. Like I have all these notes from my color grade, and the playback is just in real time. Like there's no real hiccups. This validates all the feelings that I had and all my apprehension before I even bought the laptop. When I was buying this MacBook Pro, I'm telling you, when I hit purchase, my stomach, like I felt it just go. I felt sick. It was like when I bought my A7 III for the first time, like 5-6 years ago. That was a lot of money, but I knew that the investment was worth it. And you know, the tools that you have, the tools that you invest in, sometimes you just got to take that leap. You know, I knew for myself that this is going to take me to the next level. And if you're a creative, if you value your time, if you value having something that is super responsive, and you need something that's responsive, and you know you don't want to wait all the time, this is it. Just the fact that over the past month, I've pumped out 4 YouTube videos, 4 long form YouTube videos. That's more than I ever did in my entire creative journey. The tools can give you confidence. And, you know, if you're willing to spend the money, you will thank yourself later for it. Now you've seen all the tests, you know the specs, and you know how it keeps me creatively flowing. My overall impressions of this laptop as a creative professional is a high resounding yes. This M4 Max MacBook is a beast, no doubt. No matter what I throw at it, I know that this thing can handle it. And that's all from my 4K editing, color grading, motion graphics and animation, you name it. And looking back to how I was editing previously, I just can't see myself going back. Gone are the days of constantly getting thrown off my groove because something either wasn't working or just felt clunky or was just too slow, and enter the days of seamless file transferring and a cohesive ecosystem that just works perfect for my needs. This laptop has become the ultimate hub for a seamless workflow environment and keeps me in the creative headspace to go from ideation to a finished product. And as a content creator, this was the perfect solution to help aid my scatterbrain throughout making videos just like this. If you feel the same way, I think this laptop might just be the one for you. What do you think, cousin? Are you looking to upgrade? Or will you wait to see what Apple releases next year for the M5, which I hear they might be actually doing a new upgrade to the chassis, so be on the lookout for that. And of course, cousin, if you have a question about the MacBook Pro, feel free to ask me in the comments down below. And before I forget, I actually did record the unboxing process of when I first got my MacBook, so if you want to see that, that'll be in the video right about here. And as always, cousin, stay blessed. Peace.